There's a reason we call it the snowboard community. It's because there's something special about like-minded individuals coming together to share the thing we all love, snowboarding. As winter comes, the Stoke gets high, and we all get the itch to get on the snow and hang with the homies.
Here at Eldora at the Woodward Park, super fun. They're really putting it together here. You get out and go shred and kind of push you a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Snowboard community provides many things. Friends to keep you safe in the backcountry, homies to help motivate you progress in the park. Extra hands when you're building features. Or simply a great group of people to keep the vibes high and have a great time.
It is low tide. Super stoked to be out here. Good crew of friends. Haven't hung out with all these guys since last winter, so it's great to be able to get out here, hang out together, get creative, make the most of it.
With all the good things come some challenges. For us, it's funding for lift passes, timing getting busy work schedules together, short ride windows with kids' school schedules, as well as early season conditions and having to work with what you have.
Yeah!
Ultimately, it's always worth it.
And we are at Eldora. They just opened up the park. We've had kind of low tide season, so it's good to get out and just kind of get the jump legs figured out and kind of get comfortable with new equipment. So far, so good.
Rolling up to Eldora right now to link up with Chris Corning, a good buddy of ours.
When the shots are getting captured, or simply powder is flying, it's all about getting out and enjoying the shred. And there is no way better to do it than with a community. What is Stoke? Stoke is the action that feeds the flame of passion. Our excited ember glows just after a storm buries the mountain, and it gushes a cold smoke. Join us as we explore the diverse world of snowboarding, where styles collide and individuality takes the lead.
Pretty damn good! Hell yeah, buddy! Woo!
For some, freestyle is the focus. These riders are acrobats of the mountain, dancing on the slopes with creativity and style. Their stoke comes from the pursuit of perfecting tricks. Every jump, spin, and grab ignites a fire within. As they push the boundaries of what's possible for them, Stoke is the rush of adrenaline midair, the feeling of weightlessness, and the cheers of the fellow riders and crowd as they nail a mind-bending trick. Others might consider themselves more of a free rider, explorers of the untouched powder and hidden lines beneath the folds of the mountain. Their stoke comes from the serenity of the backcountry, where untouched snow becomes their canvas. It's the search for the perfect line, the anticipation of floating through waist-deep powder, and conquering challenging terrain.
Ooh, that one was big!
The beauty of snowboarding lies in the diversity of styles. Each rider finds their stoke in a unique way. Whether you're catching air, carving through untouched pow, or racing down the slope with precision, the essence of Stoke remains the same. It's the passion that sets the snowboarding soul ablaze. When winter really turns on and the snow piles up, the terrain features come to life. You get the opportunity to put down tricks you've been dreaming about. Watching the snow fall and finding yourself in the white room. Getting out to those zones and exploring the goods. Capturing undeniably cool moments with the crew. Ultimately, Stoke starts as soon as the first flakes fall, and we all get excited to strap in and get on snow. But what really brings that to life? Well, it depends on who you ask.
What I'm stoked on this season, just getting out here, getting the legs moving, making some snow fly. That's my kind of go-to this year. Obviously catching air and doing tricks, but more so just being out here. Blue sky, snow, it's a beautiful world.
It's different for everyone. It's one of those things that really makes snowboarding so special. It provides something unique, an escape from reality, a happy place, adrenaline, creativity, and the list goes on. This episode of Drive to Ride focuses on the Stoke aspect of snowboarding. As with everything in life, everything great comes with challenges.
Oh, there's a rock right here.
As far as the Stoke goes, everyone wants the goods. Luckily, we don't have to worry about tracks and crowds too often. But traffic is always a pain, and we fight it on the daily. No tracks provides its own set of trials, though. Whether on a splitboard, snowmobile, or boot packing, all play a role in getting to the goods. Splitboarding gets you into places efficiently, but doesn't ride quite as well. And it takes some time to transition. Snowmobiling is amazing and can get you far away places fast. But again, not cheap, and you have to deal with mechanical issues and getting stuck, which takes tons of time and energy. Then you have boot packing, which is pretty efficient, especially with snowshoes, like these TSLs. But if conditions are deep, or the snowpack's rotten, this can take an immense amount of effort, and can tire you out before you even get to the spot. While all of these present their own challenge, it's part of the game, and you have to pay to play. For me, it's just that element of discovery. Getting into a new zone that you've never been to before, and laying eyes on like a dream line that you swear you've seen before, but it's just got every perfect turn measured out and planned out exactly the way that you would want it to. Or even discovering new abilities and running into new people that you turn out to be great friends with and look at the mountain similarly. I'm most stoked just to get out and feel that new sensation every time I'm finding a fresh new pow stash and getting like a new angle for a photo. All of it. It's thrilling. Mind is good, the shot is there. Everybody's happy, so yeah, no complaints. The drive to push yourself into these zones always offers a reward. Seeing features you built over the summer come to life, or getting out with your friends and experiencing an entire mountain filled with fresh, all to yourselves.
So I get most stoked to go shred in the backcountry, right? Get out with my buddies, go ride POW. Always looking for terrain, usually wooded area that has a lot of terrain features, rocks, that sort of thing. Spend a lot of time exploring those new zones. Once you lay eyes on it, you hope it's everything you thought it would be. And you get up there and put a line down. There's really just no other feeling like it. It's super fun to get out and ride. That was sick, so steep.
When the snow falls, things change dramatically. And what once looked like it would line up, doesn't. For instance, the tree ride. With all the weight of the snow, the stabilizers we built broke and made it lean to the right, right into a rock. Suddenly, what we thought was going to be a super fun feature to try things on became a battle even getting to the end. A super short run-in and some mega bounciness made it a true struggle. On the other hand, if you're willing to work for it, suddenly something that wouldn't even seem like a possibility opens up and ascending can begin. But landing, that's a whole other ballgame. These features are far from perfect, which means even if it's a trick you can do 100 times in the park, it's rarely going to go as planned.
For me, Stoke kind of comes at two levels. There's a personal Stoke and there's a group Stoke. The personal Stoke is what is the hardest thing that I can do on the coolest feature that's around and ideally land, right? So it's a battle of, okay, I feel like I could land this, but this would be cooler, maybe I try this. Like, whether or not that works out for me, I always have the group Stoke effort, which is we get to be out doing this thing, snowboarding, and doing it in a way that's just really fun. And having a project and having the video camera pointed at you, I'm so much more likely to try cooler tricks or try to progress myself.
Another big side of Stoke is just getting out there, finding the goods, and riding what you can when you can, making the most of it. Sometimes it's just a nice pillow with a solid takeoff. Maybe it's just a fun run with a couple of random obstacles to bounce off. Long lines or epic pillows, one thing remains the same. It's the Stoke and the smiles that greet you at the bottom.
Do it.
The desire to defy gravity, to become the bird, and satisfy that cloud-like craving you've had since childhood of floating from one place to another. Somehow, time slows. It almost seems to become still for a moment. It's simply the act of catching air, something not everyone can understand, but those who do crave it. Airtime is one of those special things that comes with many other action sports. For us, this comes in the form of flying through the air on a chunk of wood, strapped to your feet. All it takes is that amazing sensation of sailing through the air rushing underneath you, and you're hooked.
For me, Airtime is absolutely my favorite part of snowboarding. There's just something so amazing about flying through the air. 1 second you're on the snow, next second you're literally weightless, and then it's just a matter of landing. It's an experience that is literally impossible for me to find elsewhere, and I seek it out in every way. As kids, we get asked what superpower we'd choose. Mine, the power to fly. And how much cooler is that when your superpower becomes a reality? Give me a snowboard and let the airtime begin.
The itch to soar through the sky doesn't just happen overnight. It starts small, a little bump of snow, progresses to a cat track, then the terrain park, moves up to a cliff, and ends with a massive booter. One thing is the same, they all take will and lots of confidence. Of course, there's crashes. Some are fun, and others can end a season. Once that drive for airtime is started, it's hard to turn it off. all you want to do is send. No matter the feature, they all provide something unique and different, and makes that drive much stronger to find new spots and new interesting terrain.
So my drive to catch air these days is all about finding new experiences. When I was younger, I was in the park daily chasing that airtime sensation. Now I spend a lot of time in the backcountry, right, finding and looking for that sensation. Features just look awesome, or even it just a spot catches your eye and feels like it could create some adrenaline and that feel-good trick.
It's easy to understand the concept of catching air, seeing a jump and sending it. But what's harder to see is what goes into a spot. First step is finding it. This may sound simple, and actually it's gotten a lot easier with the help of apps like Onyx, but you have to find a landing first, then make sure there's a run-in and speed. Sometimes it's a spot you're familiar with. Maybe a friend or his crew has hit it before, and this takes some of the guessing out of the equation, but it doesn't mean the jump will be perfect. Snow piles up differently, gets blown around with the wind, and creates totally unique situations throughout the season. The mine jump is a perfect example. If you've never been in this world, it's hard to really see what goes into getting just one clip. Hours of getting there, dealing with the sled, hours of building, hiking, and testing the speed, slams, bails, getting close, hiking back up, or getting sled lap back up to the top. Then, when all goes right, you finally land that one trick that plays for 3, maybe 5 seconds max. And that's all you get. So the question is, why do it? If it can take literally 5 hours to get just one clip, when you can go to the terrain park and get 15 in just 5 minutes. Really, I think it comes down to the feeling. Sure, the clip high feels nice, and it's rad to see your hard work come to fruition when you stomp that shot. But also, the uncertainty, creativity, adrenaline, and the feeling of landing something when you've worked that hard is something really special. Airtime isn't always about those massive booters. Sometimes it's more about the natural cliff you've ridden by 100 times. Always looking at it, thinking it'd feel amazing to build up confidence to drop off that. Then one day, things line up, and it all comes together. Standing at the edge of a giant cliff, or at the top of a natural line of hits, certainly excites me. And I dip into a childish dream world inspired by tricks I've seen stomped by the riders I look up to. You may have noticed through this series, though, that there aren't a ton of clips of me mid-air. Partly because I almost get the same adrenaline capturing a shot as being in it. With that said, there's nothing like locking in a grab in the middle of a trick and having time slow down. The thing with airtime is, it doesn't always have to be massive hang time to create that feeling of excitement. Sometimes the jump isn't super big, but having that fresh powder landing opens up the opportunity to try new tricks or attempt ones you've been used to. The powder feels great, but most people don't realize it makes the landing way more difficult. Yeah. There's a reason you see a lot more 720s than 540s. Landing switch and pow is a whole new skill, and it takes years to master.
Just thinking about snowboarding brings me to this state of joy, basically, and then succeeding at doing stuff that you plan in your mind and actually projecting it and executing it and succeeding doing it. That feeling of accomplishment is something only snowboarding can brought me in my life.
At this point, we generally seek out fun terrain in the backcountry to satisfy our airtime urges. Every now and then we get the opportunity to get back in the park and relive those younger years of spending day after day hitting jumps. Thanks to Copper, we got to do this in a pretty rad way, with private sled laps and an awesome crew. All in all, airtime creates that feeling that's difficult to find without getting there. It's hard to explain. Especially if you're trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone and get those incredible shots.
Personally, I'm always about trying to push myself to do new tricks. It's a battle because over the years, we do our stock ones, the 360s, switch 540s, and 720s. For me, the goal is really trying to do new grabs, new tricks or accesses, and just put down things I think are cool. And that feeling when you land a new trick you've been dreaming about, and what's more, first try, that feeling is damn near impossible to replicate.
Adventure. I think most people seek out adventure in one way or another. Adventure is a special thing, because it's unique for everyone, yet still the same for us all as well. Adventure is a part of life, and we're always trying to make the most of our explorations and journeys. For us, adventure is really all about getting out in the backcountry, seeking out unique experiences. When we planned this episode, it was all going to be about big backcountry adventure, long splitboard missions, high peaks, and really exploring the amazing mountains Colorado has to offer. As with everything in snowboarding, and in life, rarely do things go exactly as planned. And after a great month focused on jumping, adventure followed suit. And our adventure stayed in the realm of sending it and catching air. The direction of our adventures was mainly geared towards finding the most interesting terrain. Places that are mesmerizing and show off some of the best parts of snowboarding. The mountains are so enticing. Views so vast, it just creates an awesome opportunity for your brain to run wild, thinking of runs, lines, and tricks we'd like to do. And eventually, it all comes back to one of the best parts of adventuring, that element of everyone being out together, yet seeing the mountains so differently.
I love just being in the mountains and seeing that blank canvas of the mountain and choosing a line among all the features and rocks. And first thought I have is whether or not it's safe. Where's the fresh, good snow gonna be? And then what feature will allow me to launch off of or hit into that good snow.
With the element of adventuring, generally, you're working with a variety of snow conditions, especially when getting into some of the bigger, steeper terrain. You need to wait until the Abbey conditions are safe. And when it's this late in the season, you have to deal with a wide variety of temps, which can cause some uneven freezing. Wind is also a huge element. It can vary day to day, and the wind might blow fresh snow on the top of the run or near the rocks at the bottom. Really a challenge getting to the goods. First, you have to find them.
Just to the looker's left of that, you can kind of air into that roller.
The variable conditions is definitely the element of adventuring I struggle with the most. I get fixated on the coolest feature. Unfortunately, that doesn't always go as planned. You try to do a run and it just doesn't work out because the snow isn't super good, or there's rocks in the landing, or it just doesn't line up. So you try to do these tricks and they just don't work out. Everybody kind of has their own specialty when we're out there, and I would say my specialty is the freestyle aspect.
As many will agree, snowboarding outside the resort has a lot to do with creativity and putting to action what your mind can produce. And the more different people are that are out there with you, the more options open up.
Colorado is the most dangerous snowpack in the world, fact.
we're doing our best to mitigate that and to make good, safe choices as a group. Working together, sharing knowledge, going out there throughout the year, keeping eyes on zones, made it possible to get these big mountain lions.
Again, this brings it all back to adventure. These features aren't normal. They're not well maintained. They're natural. The hope is to work with the feature, not to create a lot of work for yourself. However, it's always changing in the mountains. You might have hit a feature last season, and this year it's a whole new shape because something's changed. Whether it be snowpack, wind direction, fresh storms, or other weather phenomena. Sometimes, things just happen perfect. The lip is an easy shape, and the landing's fresh. And that is when the magic can happen.
I have been snowboarding most of my young years in Whistler and in the streets of Quebec. After spending 15 years working in the snowboard industry, I realized how much I have missed out on the pleasure of going out filming with friends and pushing my limits. 3 years ago, at 40 years old, I shifted my priorities. I started a wellness company called CV Days and moved to Colorado with the ambition to never miss a good powder day. The end result is that I have never been so happy, and snowboarding is fulfilling now all of my spiritual needs. Nothing in life beats the sensation of accomplishment from landing on your feet into a nice, fresh, deep powder landing.
With a crew of working individuals, many with other priorities, making the most out of our day is crucial. Everyone has different time constraints, days they can ride, etc. As a whole, we're always attempting to be as productive as possible. This means a lot of phone calls and pre-planning to make it work out. It also means choosing zones, who will ride that day, snowmobile, split, or boot pack to approach. There are a ton of factors to consider every day we go out. But because of all this hard work, before, during, and after, on and off the hill, our crew has been able to put together some amazing content. We're proud to share it with you. Adventuring's my bread and butter. The thing that gets me up in the morning and excited all winter. Having a crew that's dedicated to getting out there, exploring the goods, capturing it, and enjoying everything snowboarding, that's what it's all about. We have a team that's stoked to film each other and also stoked to ride. And they shred as hard as they can. We will never stop adventuring. And that's what's so special about Colorado. Within an hour or so, the options are endless. Huge peaks, tight coulees, and awesome features. All with some sick airtime to go with it.